How did one fun secret turn into me being served in my own building lobby, with my child's schedule starting that same day? Why did the locks change before I could even touch the handle? And why were my bags lined up like I was a stranger? I still told myself I was the victim, right until the paper in my hand proved I wasn't. My name is Dorcasina Greene, but everyone calls me Dori because my full name sounds like a joke. I was 34 and I worked as an office coordinator at a dental clinic. I liked clean lists, neat schedules, and people looking at me like I was important. At home, I did not get that look anymore. Ethan did not look at me like that. Ethan was my husband. He was 36. He worked in IT security, which meant he trusted numbers more than feelings. He used quiet words, like he was always trying to be fair. That kind of fair felt like a trap to me. I wanted him to admit I was the one carrying the whole marriage. If he did not admit it, I told myself I had the right to find that respect somewhere else. That week started like normal. The kitchen light was too bright in the morning. The air smelled like coffee and toast. Lila sat at the table with her hair messy and her small shoulders tight, like she was already tired of grown-up moods. Ethan stood by the counter and asked if I could be home on time tonight. He said it in a careful voice, like he was holding a glass. I said the clinic was understaffed, and I could not promise anything. He asked why it was always like that now. I said he did not understand my job. He said he did understand, but he missed me. I told him he was being needy. I said I needed space to breathe, and he was always making everything heavy. He looked down at his mug. He did not raise his voice. That made me more annoyed. When someone stays calm, it makes you feel like you are the loud one, even if you are right. I told myself he was doing it on purpose. I told myself he wanted me to look bad. At the clinic, I was in my element. The front desk was busy. Phones rang. Patients signed forms. The dentist asked for files. I moved fast. I liked the feeling of being needed. When a coworker asked how my weekend was, I did not say, fine. I sighed, so she would ask again. She asked if everything was okay at home. I said Ethan was stressed and controlling lately. I said he kept checking where I was. I said he acted like I could not have friends. It was not fully true, but it sounded true. That is the thing. If you say it with a straight face, people believe it. My best friend Janelle texted me during lunch. She asked if I wanted to meet after work. I said maybe. She asked if Ethan was behaving. I laughed and said he was doing his sad, quiet act again. Janelle sent laughing emojis and said, I should not let him drain me. I liked that. I liked having a team. That evening I came home later than I said I would. I carried my purse like it was heavy. I acted tired before anyone asked. Ethan stood near the hallway, not blocking me, just waiting. He asked if I ate dinner already. I said yes. He asked where I went after work. I said the clinic ran late and then I had to pick up something. He asked what I picked up. I said he was interrogating me. He said he was not interrogating, he just wanted to talk. I told him talking with him was never just talking. I said he always tried to turn it into a courtroom. He looked surprised at that word, like it hurt. I saw Lila peeking from the living room. She was holding her stuffed rabbit. Her eyes moved between us. Ethan noticed her too. He softened his face and asked Lila if she finished her homework. She nodded. He asked if she wanted to read later. She nodded again. Then he looked back at me and asked if we could speak when Lila went to bed. I said I was too tired. I said he always picked the worst time. He said he could wait, but he wanted to fix things. I said maybe things did not need fixing. Maybe he needed fixing. I went up the stairs and felt like I won. I told myself I was strong because I did not melt. I told myself a strong woman does not beg for basic respect. Later, I came down for water. The house was quiet. I heard a soft beep from Ethan's phone on the counter. The screen lit up for a second. I did not plan to look, but I did. It showed an alarm that said, Paper drop 9:10 p.m. Paper drop. What did that even mean? Next to his phone, there was a simple folder on the desk, not a fancy binder, just a plain folder with a label that said, Utilities. I paused and stared at it. It felt like he was building a wall with small, boring bricks. I told myself it was probably nothing. Ethan liked lists. Ethan liked folders. Ethan was the type to label socks if he could. Still, I felt a pinch in my chest, like a warning. I did not like warnings. I went upstairs and opened my own messages. There was a new text from Logan Price. He was a trainer at my gym, the kind of man who acted like he had time for everyone, but somehow made you feel like you were the special one. He asked if I was free later this week. He said he wanted to talk. I smiled before I could stop myself. I told myself it was harmless. I told myself I deserved a friend who did not judge me. I told myself Ethan had pushed me to this with his moods and his questions. The next day, Ethan tried again. In the kitchen, he asked if we could plan something simple for Friday. He said we could take Lila to the park and then eat together. I said that sounded boring. He asked what I wanted. I said I wanted him to stop acting like a victim. He asked why I was so angry. I said I was not angry. I was honest. He said honesty did not have to be cruel. I said he was calling me cruel now. He said he was not calling me cruel. He was asking for kindness. I told him kindness was earned. That was my line. I used it like a key. If kindness was earned, I could hold it back and still feel right. At work, I told my mother about our issues. She asked if Ethan was still being difficult. I said yes. I said he did not support me. I said he watched me like a guard. My mother said men like that always get worse. She said I should protect myself. She did not ask for details. She did not need them. In the evening, Ethan's mother called. She asked how I was. I said I was fine. She asked if Ethan was okay. I said he was emotional lately. She went quiet, then asked what I meant. I said he was making small problems into big ones. She said she hoped we could all have peace for Lila. I said I wanted peace too, but Ethan kept starting things. When I hung up, I felt proud. I had planted the story. If things went bad, people would already know who to blame. That night, I walked past Ethan's desk again. I heard a faint click from a drawer closing, like he had just locked it. I saw him turn his keyring in his hand, and there was a new key on it. He noticed me looking. He did not hide it, but he did not explain. He just asked if I needed something. I said no. I said I was just checking if he cleaned up his mess. He nodded once, like he was taking notes inside his head. I went to bed and told myself I was still in control. I still think that, even now, when I look back. I did not know that the quiet things in the house were already moving around me, like furniture being shifted in the dark. 2 days later, I went to the gym after work, even though I told Ethan I was going to a quick errand. I said it like it was nothing. I said it like it was normal for me to disappear. In my head, it was normal because I was tired of feeling watched. The gym smelled like rubber mats and clean spray. The music was too loud, but I liked that. Loud music made it easier to pretend I did not hear my own thoughts. I walked past the mirrors and checked my face, my hair, my posture. I told myself I was doing it for health. I told myself I was building a better life. I did not say the word escape, but that was what it was. Logan was near the front desk. He wore a simple black shirt with the gym logo. He looked up and smiled like he had been waiting, even if he had not. He asked how I was doing. I said work was crazy. He asked if I was still married. I laughed and said marriage was complicated. He said he understood complicated and asked if I wanted help with a routine. I said I did not need help, but I stayed close anyway. He walked with me to a row of machines and explained a few basic moves like he was teaching a beginner. I was not a beginner. I knew what he was doing. He was making a reason for us to talk. I let him. I told myself it was harmless because he did not touch me, and I did not say anything bad. I only smiled. I only listened. He asked if I ever took time for myself. I said not really. He said I deserved it. I said maybe. He asked what my husband was like. I said he was intense and always analyzing me. Logan said that sounded exhausting. I agreed too fast. When my phone buzzed, I did not check it. I knew it was Ethan because Ethan texted at the same time every day. I kept my phone face down on the bench. I told myself I was setting boundaries. I told myself Ethan did not own my attention. After the gym, I walked into the parking garage. The air was cold and damp. My steps echoed. Logan followed a few seconds later, like it was a coincidence. He asked if I was driving home. I said yes. He asked if I wanted to grab a drink sometime. I said I did not know. He said he was free Friday night and asked if I was. Friday night. Ethan had asked about Friday night. I pictured Ethan in the kitchen, trying to plan something small. I pictured him saying we could take Lila to the park and eat together. I remembered how his voice sounded careful, like he was asking permission to be part of his own family. That careful voice made my skin itch. It made me feel guilty, and I hated guilt. Guilt made me weak, so I told Logan I might be free. He smiled and said I could text him. He said he did not want to pressure me. That word pressure felt like a trick, because it made it sound like my husband was the one pressuring me. I liked that. I liked anything that made Ethan look wrong and me look reasonable. In the car, I finally checked my phone. Ethan had texted and asked if I could be home by 7. He said he wanted to cook together and let Lila help. He added a small heart emoji, which was rare for him. That made me angry, because it felt like he was trying to buy me back with sweetness. I texted him and said my friend needed me tonight. I said it was important. He asked if we could do family night another day. I said he was always making plans like I was his employee. He said he was not trying to control me. I said it felt like control anyway. When I walked into the house, Ethan was in the living room with Lila. A kids' movie played in the background. Lila looked up and asked if I was staying. I said not tonight. She asked why. I said grown-ups sometimes needed time with friends. She frowned and hugged her rabbit. Ethan asked if I could talk for a minute. I said I was late already. He asked who I was meeting. I said Janelle. He asked where. I said downtown. He asked why it had to be Friday. I said he was doing it again, making me explain like a child. He said he just wanted to know. I said he wanted to track me. He did not argue back. He only nodded once and said he hoped I stayed safe. That calm response felt like a slap. It was like he was refusing to play the role I gave him. I wanted him to act jealous so I could call him toxic. I wanted him to beg so I could call him weak. But he did neither. In the kitchen, I saw something small that bothered me. There were 2 mugs on the counter, not side by side like before. One was closer to the sink, one was closer to the coffee maker, like 2 separate islands. I told myself it meant nothing. Still, I felt that pinch again. I left fast. I went to Janelle's car first, then we took a rideshare to a rooftop bar. The air up there was sharp, and the city lights looked like little promises. Janelle smiled wide and said I needed to stop acting like a married woman all the time. She said I was too young to be tired. I said I was not tired, I was just not appreciated. She asked if Ethan was still doing his quiet guilt thing. I said yes. She laughed and said, men like that loved control. I agreed. Tess was there too. She sat across from me and watched my face like she was trying to read the truth behind my words. Janelle asked if I ever thought about leaving Ethan. I said sometimes. Tess asked if I was serious. I said I did not know. Then I added that Ethan was lucky I stayed. I said it like a joke, but I meant it. Janelle took a photo of us with our drinks and posted it. She tagged me. She wrote something about girls who choose themselves. I liked that phrase. It sounded like a clean reason. It sounded like a banner you could wave. My phone buzzed again. Ethan's name popped up. I stared at it, then I turned the phone over. Janelle noticed and asked if he was calling. I said he was being dramatic. She said I should not answer. Tess looked down at her own glass and did not smile. Later, When I checked, Ethan had sent one text. He said Lila asked when I would be back. He said he told her I was with friends. He said he hoped I had a good night. That made me furious, even though it was polite. It made me feel like he was trying to look noble. I told myself he was putting on a show. I told myself he wanted a record of being the good one. So I posted a story. It was just the skyline and my drink, nothing wrong. But I added a caption about finally breathing again. I knew people would read it and think Ethan was suffocating me. That was the point. I wanted the story to grow legs and run ahead of me. On the way home, Janelle leaned close and said Logan was cute. I asked how she knew Logan. She said she saw him comment on my gym photo last week. My stomach dropped for a second. I had forgotten about that comment. I had forgotten that the internet remembers. Tess asked if Logan was just a trainer. I said yes. I said she was being paranoid like Ethan. Tess went quiet. Janelle rolled her eyes. When I got home, the house was dark except for a small light in the hallway. Ethan was awake. He sat at the table with his laptop open, but when I walked in, he shut it without rushing. He asked if I had fun. I said yes. He asked if we could talk tomorrow. I said maybe. He looked at me for a long second, then he said, okay. He did not ask more. He did not accuse. He did not beg. He walked upstairs without looking back. I stood there in the quiet kitchen, feeling strange. I told myself I had won another round, but I also felt like I was walking on a floor that had started to tilt, just a little, and I did not know which way it would drop. The next week felt like I was living two lives, and I told myself that was normal. At work, I was the helpful one, the organized one, the woman who kept the clinic from falling apart. At home, I was the one under pressure, the one who needed space, the one who could not deal with Ethan's moods. I repeated those words so often they started to sound like facts. Logan texted me almost every day. Nothing big, nothing that looked bad if you saw it fast. He asked how my day was. I said it was long. He said he could make me laugh. I said I could handle myself. He sent a meme. I sent a laughing emoji. I told myself it was harmless because it was simple, but the simple things were the glue. Ethan noticed, of course. He always noticed. He did not say it directly, which was annoying. If he said it directly, I could call him jealous. Instead, he watched in a quiet way that made me feel like I was being measured. One morning in the kitchen, he asked if we could both try to be kinder this week. He said Lila had been quieter. He said she asked why we sounded sharp. I said kids copy what they see online and at school, not at home. He said he was not blaming me. I said he was. He asked if I was texting a lot because of work. I said yes. He asked why I kept turning my screen away. I said he was imagining things. He said he only asked because it felt different. I said he was controlling. He went quiet, like he was putting the words back into his mouth so they would not start a fight. That made me feel powerful. I knew how to end his questions with one label: controlling, insecure, dramatic. I used those labels like stamps. Later that day, I met Logan at a riverside promenade after work. I told Ethan I had to pick up a prescription and then do a grocery run. I said it in a smooth tone, like a practiced line. I even made my face look tired, so he would not question it. Ethan only nodded and asked if I needed his card. I said no. Like I was insulted, he offered. The promenade was cold but pretty. People walked dogs and took photos. Logan stood near a bench with his hands in his pockets like he belonged there. He asked if I was okay. I said my husband was being weird again. He asked what weird meant. I said Ethan acted like I could not have a life. Logan said that sounded unfair. I agreed. He asked if Ethan ever made me feel special. I said he used to, but not now. I did not mention the heart emoji. I did not mention the way Ethan read to Lila every night, even when he was tired. Those details did not help my story. Logan asked what I wanted. I said I wanted respect. He said respect followed happiness, and I deserved happiness. I liked that line because it took the work out of it. It made it sound like happiness was something you get, not something you build. I went home after, with a small bag from the pharmacy, to make my lie look real. At the supermarket checkout, I paid with my card and kept the receipt without thinking. The cashier asked if I wanted it. I said yes. I did not know that tiny paper would matter later. At that moment, it felt like nothing. At home, Ethan was in the living room with Lila. He asked if the pharmacy line was long. I said yes. He asked what I got. I said vitamins. He nodded and did not ask more. That calm look again, like he was saving energy. When Lila went upstairs, Ethan asked if we could talk. He said he felt like we were drifting. He said he missed being close. I said he was making it about him again. He said marriage was about both people. I said I was carrying both people. He asked if there was someone else. He did not accuse. He asked like a question you ask when you already know something but still hope you are wrong. For a second, I felt my throat close. I laughed. I said he watched too many sad movies. I said he was paranoid. I said it was insulting that he thought I would do that. I said if he kept accusing me, I would actually leave. He stared at me, and I could tell he did not believe me. But he did not argue. He said he did not want to accuse. He wanted clarity. I said clarity was control. I said he was trying to put me in a box. Then he said something small that I pretended not to hear. He said he wanted to protect Lila from chaos. Protect. That word made me think of rules, schedules, consequences. I did not like it. The next day at work, I told my coworkers Ethan had trust issues. I said it like a joke, so it sounded light. A hygienist asked if he was the jealous type. I said yes, and I rolled my eyes. People laughed. That laugh felt warm in my chest. I liked having an audience. I liked being the one who got sympathy. During lunch, I posted a vague status online about emotional labor and being tired of explaining basic respect. People reacted fast. Cynthia commented with hearts and said I deserved peace. Janelle shared it and added a line about men who cannot handle strong women. Tess did not react at all. That bothered me more than a negative comment would have. That evening, I walked past Ethan's desk and saw his laptop open. There was a spreadsheet on the screen, plain columns and rows. I could not see a title. I only saw dates, times, and short notes. When he noticed me, he closed it right away. I smiled and asked if he was tracking my every move. I said it in a teasing voice like I was above it. He said he was organizing things. I asked what things. He said household things. I said that was suspicious. He looked at me and nodded once, like he was admitting I could think whatever I wanted. That nod made my skin prickle. It was not fear exactly. It was the feeling you get when a door closes softly and you realize you did not hear it lock. A day later, I found the guest bed slightly disturbed, like someone had slept there. Ethan usually slept next to me, even when we fought. I went downstairs and asked if he slept in the guest room. He said yes, just for the night. He said he did not want tension in front of Lila. I told him he was being dramatic. I said he was trying to punish me. He said he was not punishing me. He was making space. I said space was an excuse for avoidance. He said maybe. That maybe landed heavier than a fight. It sounded like he had stopped trying to convince me. It sounded like he was done asking for permission to feel. That night I texted Logan and said I felt misunderstood at home. He replied fast and said I deserved someone who saw me. I stared at that message for a long time. I did not feel guilty. I felt chosen. And I told myself that if Ethan felt small, it was because he made himself small. I told myself I was not doing anything wrong. I was just taking what I needed. The clinic felt smaller that week, like the walls were holding secrets. In the break room, the coffee machine made a loud grinding sound, and people spoke in half voices. I walked in like I owned the air. I smiled first so nobody could see I was tense. One of the hygienists asked how things were at home. I said Ethan was still acting strange. I said he asked too many questions and then pretended he was calm. Another coworker said calm men were scary because they stored anger. I agreed, even though Ethan had never been violent, not once. I did not care about fairness. I cared about the story. My manager, Miles, pulled me aside near the supply closet. He said he noticed I was distracted lately. He said patients were waiting longer at the desk. I said I was under stress at home. He asked if I needed time off. I said I could not afford to rest because I was the responsible one. I made my voice soft, like I was brave. Miles said he hoped things improved. I nodded and told myself I had just bought more sympathy. At lunch, I scrolled through my social feed and saw my own vague post from earlier in the week. People kept reacting to it. Cynthia had shared it again with a long caption about strong women. Janelle commented with a line about men who wanted submission. I felt warm inside, like I had an army. I also felt a little sick, like I was building something too big to control. I pushed that feeling away. After work, I drove to the school pickup line. The cars were packed close, like everyone was afraid of losing their spot. I saw Ethan's car 2 vehicles ahead. He usually picked Lila up on Tuesdays, but he was there on a day he normally worked late. That annoyed me. It felt like he was shifting the board without telling me. When Lila got into my car, she asked why Daddy was there. I said he had extra time today. She asked if we were all eating dinner together. I said maybe. She asked if Daddy was mad at me. I said no, Daddy was just tired. Then she asked something that made my stomach tighten. She asked why Daddy slept in the other room. I said he snored. She said he never snored before. I laughed like it was cute. I said maybe she never noticed. She stared out the window, and I could tell she did not believe me. Kids have a quiet way of holding truth. That evening, we had dinner with family at a restaurant with a long table. My mother chose the place because it looked nice in public. She liked public. Public meant you could control the picture. Ethan arrived with Lila. He greeted everyone politely. He asked my parents how they were doing. He thanked the server. He pulled out Lila's chair and helped her sit. It made him look good. I hated that. Cynthia started the conversation by talking about my job and how hard it was. She said I carried so much. I smiled and said I did my best. Ethan's mother Marla watched me like she was counting breaths. Ron, Ethan's father, kept his hands folded and spoke only when asked. Tess sat near me, quiet, her shoulders tight. Halfway through the meal, Cynthia asked Ethan how work was. He said work was busy but fine. Cynthia asked if he was still stressed. Ethan said he was managing. Cynthia said men should not take their stress out on women. She glanced at me like she was pointing to a bruise that was not there. Ethan did not defend himself. He only asked if we could talk about something else. Cynthia said she was only trying to help. I jumped in and said Ethan did not like being questioned. I said he always shut down when anyone called him out. I watched people's faces. Janelle was not there, but my mother did enough damage for 2. Marla finally asked me, calm but sharp, if there was someone else. She said she noticed how I treated Ethan. She said she noticed how I held my phone. She said she noticed how I looked past him, like he was furniture. I laughed too loud and said Marla was imagining things. I said she never liked me anyway. Marla said she liked truth more than charm. I said she was being rude at dinner. Ron asked everyone to lower their voices. Tess looked down at her plate. Lila held her fork still, like she was afraid to move. Ethan spoke then. He asked Marla to stop. He asked everyone to leave private issues private. He said he only wanted peace for Lila. Again with that word. Peace like a rule. Peace like a plan. I leaned in and said Ethan was playing the victim again. I said he acted so reasonable in public and then tried to control everything at home. Ethan looked at me and asked what exactly he controlled. I said my time, my friends, my feelings. Ethan asked when he stopped me from seeing friends. I said he did it with his mood. That sounded clever, so I repeated it. I said moods could be cages. The server brought the check and the table finally went quiet. Ethan offered to pay his share. Cynthia waved him off and said my daughter should not pay for drama she did not cause. Ethan nodded and let her. That was another small move. He did not fight for pride. He let things happen. It was like he was collecting moments. After dinner, outside the restaurant, Marla asked Ethan if he was okay. He said he was okay. He said he was focusing on Lila. Ron told Ethan he should do things properly. Ethan said he agreed. I heard the word properly and felt a sting, even before he said it to me. On the drive home, I told Ethan he embarrassed me. I said he let his mother attack me. He asked how he should have handled it. I said he should have defended me. He said he did not want to lie for me in public. I said so, now I was a liar. He said he did not say that. I said he meant it. At home, I went upstairs first. I wanted to slam the door, but I did not, because slamming doors looks guilty. Ethan stayed downstairs with Lila and helped her brush her teeth. I heard his voice through the hallway. He asked her about school. She answered in short words. He told her he loved her. She said it back. That made my chest feel hot with something I did not want to name. Later, I came down for water again. Ethan was at the counter. I noticed a sticky note near the fridge that said, "Bring forms." I noticed a calendar reminder on his phone screen for a second before it went dark. It said, "Downtown, 11:20 a.m." I did not ask. I did not want to give him power by showing curiosity. He looked at me and asked if I was okay. I said yes. He asked if we could agree to keep family out of our issues. I said his mother started it. He said maybe, but we could still stop it. I said he liked control too much. He said he liked calm too much. Then he picked up his mug and moved it to the other side of the counter, away from mine, like he was drawing a line without saying a word. I watched him do it and felt the air shift again, like furniture moving in the dark. My plan stopped feeling like a secret and started feeling like a mission. I told myself I needed one clean moment where Ethan would finally see I had options. I wanted him to react. I wanted him to beg or get angry, because then I could point at him and say, "See? This is why." I kept telling myself I was not doing anything cruel. I was just forcing truth. That Friday, the clinic was busy. Patients complained about wait times. The dentist asked for files I had already sent. A shipment came late. Miles walked past my desk twice and said my name in a warning tone. I smiled and said I had it handled. I did not have it handled. My phone buzzed under the desk, and I checked it too often. Logan wrote that he missed me. He wrote that he wanted to see my real life, not just the gym or the promenade. I stared at that message and felt my pride swell. I told myself I deserved someone who wanted me openly. Then I told myself I could be open, because Ethan did not try anymore. It was a neat lie, and I liked neat lies. During lunch, Janelle called and asked if we were still doing the community hall fundraiser that night. She said lots of people would be there. She said it would be fun. She also said, in a low voice, that Ethan had been too calm lately, and calm men were dangerous. She said I should show everyone that I was not scared of him. I said I was not scared. I said Ethan was the scared one. Tess texted after that. She asked if I was okay. She asked if I was sure about what I was doing. I told her she was being dramatic. I told her Ethan was playing the victim and trying to turn the family against me. Tess said she only worried about Lila. I said Lila was fine because I was fine. That was another neat lie. When I got home, Ethan was in the kitchen, chopping vegetables. Lila sat at the table coloring. The kitchen looked like a normal family scene, and that made me angry because I did not want normal. Normal meant I had no excuse. Ethan asked how my day was. I said it was exhausting. He asked if I wanted help with anything. I said I wanted him to stop hovering. He nodded once. He asked what time I would be home after the fundraiser. I said I did not know. He asked if Logan would be there. My heart jumped. I laughed too fast and asked why he said that name. He said he saw it in a notification preview once when my phone lit up on the counter. He said he did not touch my phone. He said he only saw the name. He said he wanted honesty. I told him he was imagining things. I said maybe it was a patient. I said Logan could be anyone. Ethan said he understood, and then he asked again, calm, if I was seeing someone. I said no. I said he was paranoid. I said he needed help for his trust issues. He looked at Lila and asked her to go wash her hands. She did, slowly, like she could feel the tension. When she left the room, Ethan lowered his voice and said he did not want fights. He said he did not want public drama. He said he wanted to handle things like adults. I said adults did not spy. He said he was not spying. He said he was paying attention. I said paying attention was spying with a nicer name. He said okay. That okay again. Like he was closing a door softly. I went upstairs to change for the fundraiser. On the stairwell landing, I saw the guest room door was closed. I opened it and saw the bed made tight, but the pillow had a dent like someone had used it recently. On the small dresser, there was a faint smell of toner, like paper and ink. It was subtle, but it stuck in my nose. Downstairs, Ethan's phone buzzed on the counter. I saw no caller ID flash for a second, then vanish. He did not react. He only turned the sink water off and dried his hands slowly. I asked who called. He said it was nothing. I asked why he was getting no caller calls. He said some systems did that. I said that was suspicious. He said maybe. At the community hall, the room was bright with string lights and loud chatter. People wore name tags. There was a raffle table, a bake sale table, and a small stage for announcements. Janelle hugged me and said I looked amazing. She asked if Ethan came. I said no, he stayed home like always. That was not fully true, because he had offered to come earlier in the week, and I said it would be awkward. Janelle introduced me to a few people and kept the conversation on me. She asked about my stress at home in front of them, like she was helping. I sighed and said Ethan was difficult. I said he needed too much reassurance. I said he did not understand my needs. People nodded like they knew. I watched their faces and felt powerful again. Logan arrived later, not in gym clothes, but in a clean jacket. He looked around like he was checking if anyone important could see him. He came to me and asked if I wanted to leave soon. I said not yet. I wanted him seen. I wanted the rumor to be real before anyone even proved it. Tess showed up near the back of the room. She looked at Logan, then at me. Her mouth tightened. She walked over and asked quietly if this was smart. I said she was judging me. I said she sounded like Ethan. Tess said she did not want Lila to get hurt. I said Lila would be fine if Ethan stopped acting weak. That word slipped out. Weak. Logan asked what I meant by weak. I smiled and said Ethan was harmless, that was all. Logan laughed like it was a joke. Tess did not laugh. When I got home late, Ethan was sitting at the table with his laptop closed. No show, no yelling, no questions. That calm again. He asked if I was done for the night. I said yes. He asked if Lila was asleep. I said I assumed so. He said she was, and she asked for me, but he said I was busy. I felt a sting of guilt, quick and sharp, and I crushed it. I told him he should not tell Lila I was busy like it was a bad thing. He said he only told her the truth. I asked why he was acting like a robot. He said he was tired of circular talks. I said he was avoiding responsibility. He asked what responsibility he was avoiding. I said he was avoiding being a real husband. He stood up. He did not raise his voice. He looked at me like he had finally seen me clearly, and that look made my stomach drop. He said he would handle things properly. He said it slowly, properly, like a final decision. I woke up the next morning with a hot pride in my chest. Ethan had said he would handle things properly, and I told myself it was a bluff. Ethan loved big words. Ethan loved looking calm. I decided I would not be scared of calm. He left the apartment before I did. He wore a plain jacket and carried his laptop bag. He did not kiss me. He did not even pause by the door like he used to. He asked if I could be home for Lila's bedtime later. I said I had plans. He nodded once and said, "Okay." Then he left. I watched his car from the balcony until it turned toward the street. I told myself he was running away. I told myself I was finally free to breathe. At the clinic, I kept checking my phone. Logan texted and asked if Ethan was gone for the day. I said yes. I added that Ethan had a meeting downtown. Logan asked if I was serious about bringing him to my place. I said it was my place too. I said Ethan could not act like a landlord in his own marriage. Logan wrote that he liked my confidence. That word made me feel tall. I left work early and told Miles I felt sick. He looked annoyed, but he let me go. In my car, I checked the building app for package notifications, like I was proving I was still the boss of my life. Nothing showed up. I did not think anything of it. I picked Logan up near the gym. He smiled like this was a game. He asked if I was sure. I said yes. He asked what Ethan would do. I said Ethan would sulk and then get over it. Logan laughed and said Ethan sounded boring. I agreed. On the drive to the building, Logan asked if I felt guilty. I said guilt was a tool people use to control women. He asked if I loved Ethan. I said love was not enough if respect was missing. Logan said I deserved respect. I nodded like that was all the proof I needed. We walked into my building like we belonged there. The lobby smelled like cleaning spray and warm air from the vents. Mrs. Patel from Unit 3B was near the mailboxes, holding flyers. She looked up and stared for a second too long. I lifted my chin and smiled like nothing could touch me. We took the elevator to my floor. I stood close to Logan, not because I needed him, but because I wanted the world to see I could do this. When the doors opened, I walked straight to my unit. I put my key in the lock. It did not turn. I tried again, harder, like the key was wrong on purpose. Still nothing. Logan asked if I had the right key. I said of course I did. I looked closer and saw the lock hardware was new. It was a different metal, shiny like it had just been installed. My stomach dropped, but I covered it fast. I knocked. No one answered. I knocked again, louder. Logan shifted his weight and asked if Ethan was inside. I said he could not be because he was away. Then I heard footsteps behind me. A building staff member I recognized, Mr. Daniels, stepped out from the stairwell door and looked at me like he was waiting for this exact moment. He asked if I was Dorcasina Greene. I said yes, and I demanded to know why my key did not work. He said the locks had been changed. I asked who approved that. He said it was done with proper notice. I laughed and said that was impossible. I said my husband could not lock me out. Mr. Daniels said he was not here to argue. He said he was here to follow instructions. I asked what instructions. He said I could speak to management in the lobby. My face felt hot. Logan leaned closer and asked if I wanted to leave. I said no. I said Ethan was trying to embarrass me, and I was not giving him that. We went back down. The lobby suddenly felt louder. The elevator doors opened, and I saw Mrs. Patel still there, now with another neighbor. They were pretending to look at the bulletin board, but their eyes were on me. Near the front desk, a man in a plain jacket stood with a folder in his hands. He looked like a delivery person, but his posture was too careful. He asked if I was Dorcasina Greene again. I said yes, and I asked who he was. He said he had documents for me. I told him I was not signing anything. He said I did not need to sign. He said he only needed to confirm he gave them to me. Then he held the papers out. I did not want to take them, but everyone was watching. I grabbed them like I was snatching my own power back. The first page had my name and Ethan's name. The words were clean and official. I saw the word petition, and my throat tightened. I flipped the page fast, like speed could change meaning. The man said, calm and polite, that these were divorce papers and temporary orders. I laughed again, too loud. I told him Ethan could not do this without talking to me. He said the court process allowed temporary orders and that I had a chance to respond through the proper steps. He said it like he had said it 100 times. I asked what temporary orders meant. He said it meant the home was granted to Ethan for now, and that I needed to remove my personal items from the building staff's supervised area. He pointed to the wall near the lobby seating. That was when I saw my bags. 2 suitcases, a tote bag, a box taped shut. They were lined up neatly, like a display. A white paper was taped on top with a list of items, like an inventory. My hand started to shake, and I hated that they could see it. Logan stepped back like he did not want to be caught near my mess. He asked, in a low voice, if this was serious. I said it was a stunt. I said Ethan was trying to scare me. The man with the papers continued, still calm. He said the temporary orders also included a custody schedule for Lila. He said pickup and drop-off times were listed. He said communication had to stay about the child only. He said there was also a rule about public statements and social posts, and that both parties must not insult or shame the other online. That last part hit me like a slap, because it took away my favorite weapon. I pulled out my phone and called Ethan. He answered on the second ring. I demanded to know what he did. He said he was following the temporary order. He said he would only talk